You know, the United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Alrighty then, what's up everybody, it's Ron. Oh boy, why do I keep doing this? This is the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, theronkellyshow.com, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram tonight, I believe. Instagram, I gotta take a look at that when I take my next break. Anyway, everybody, welcome, thanks for joining me. It's April the 2nd already, 2026, and the baseball season is back. I mean, so we go from 70 degrees to 20 degrees. That's what it feels like out there right now. Man, when is the Lord have mercy, when is the summer just gonna come and stay? I don't know. Anyway, everybody, it's just a minute or two past the hour. It's Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. Oh boy. Shout out to my crew, the females, Angela Muhammad, Rosalind, just all the females, the women, so I should say the women. I shouldn't say females. I should say the women that were on the Ron Kelly show last week. Linda Galashaw and others, and Regina Bracey, and the ladies who were on the program last week. We did some good stuff. I got a lot of good feedback from that, so thank you to the ladies. And we'll see them again, in an upcoming Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. So, not to focus on Patterson because the show is heard all over the place, nationwide, but there's 37 people running for council at large, three seats that are available in the upcoming election in May. And there's like 94 people who are running for council at large. And and it's a racially mixed group. You have Hispanic, Black. I'm not sure if any white people are in there. Hispanic, maybe Flip Filippelli, who's been running all his life and hasn't won yet. But there are so many people running for council at large in the great city of Patterson, New Jersey. Just want to focus on Patterson for a second for the folks who might be listening to Chicago or St. Louis or LA or so many other places I've seen on the map, on the Ron Kelly Show map of listeners. So you got a whole bunch of people who are running for council at large, city of Patterson, New Jersey, for example, because many of my listeners are from Patterson, New Jersey. And you have all these people who are running for council at large. There's 3 seats available, and the election is in May next month. And you have so many people running for council at large. And as I said earlier, there's a mixed bag of ethnicities of the people who are running for council at large in the great city of Patterson, New Jersey. And there's so many people running for council at large, it's hard to even keep up with it, And so when the people get ready to vote in the city of Patterson, when they go into that voting booth for council at large, they're going to see so many people. It's probably going to be a little bit confusing because they're going to see so many people who are running for one seat. Now, from my vantage point, my observation has always been that, if you've got 4 people who are Black, for example, who are running for the council seat, why not have the candidates rally behind one candidate? Okay, so let's say you got 4 Black people who are running for council at large in the city of Patterson or anywhere. Why can't the four people get together and decide who's going to run. And that's, and that's the problem in the black community, ladies and gentlemen, that everybody thinks they know what the problem is. So what's going to happen is that the vote, let's say, for example, the African American vote, for example, and I'm just pointing that out. Let's say the African American vote, the people, there's going to be so much confusion, number one, and the vote is going to be diluted because in these non-partisan elections, there's no Republican, no Democrat, no Independent. It's nonpartisan. And these nonpartisan elections, the people, for the most part, vote for who they like. Who they like, who their friends like, who their family likes, and that's what usually happens in these type of elections where there's no party, for example. So for the black community, for example, the election, the results are going to be so diluted that somebody else is going to win that election. Somebody else. And this is what happens in these elections. We vote for the people we like. We don't even really know what their platform is. We don't even really understand, what they could actually do when they get into office. And I talk to a lot of people and they're saying like, well, yeah, I don't want to get into politics. But you got to understand how much that person that you're voting for is going to be able to do. You have to understand that. And to understand that, you have to touch on politics, at least understand how it works. There's 9 people on the council in the city of Paterson, New Jersey, for example. There's 9 people. Okay, you have 6 ward council people and 3 citywide council at large, they call them, people. Now, you've got to schmooze with the other 8 people in order to get your, whatever legislation or whatever ordinance you want to get pushed across the table. You have to get the other people to vote for you. And you see, the problem with a lot of these especially in smaller towns, everybody has their own agenda. Shout out to the people on Instagram who might be watching the Ron Kelly Show right now. Shout out to y'all. I'll check the numbers later. But, see, this is what happens. Now, instead of rallying around one candidate, you have 5 or 6 black people who are running for those 3 council seats. Now, they're not going to get them all, because you have a number of Indian, you have a number of Arabic people in the city of Paterson, very powerful. They have the money, they have the businesses, and they make things happen. So you've got the Arabic community, you've got the black community, and you've got the Hispanic community. So those 3 seats, only one black person, if any, is going to win that seat. Because you have the Arabics and you have the Hispanics. So why not just rally behind one candidate? Why can't the black folks just rally behind one candidate and and everybody get out there and hustle for that one candidate, because there's only going to be one. If any black people win, it's going to be one of those 3 seats that an African American is going to win. It's not going to be, 2 or 3. No, no. It's not going to work like that. Because you have 2 African Americans who are ward council people. 2. So, and there's already 1 African American on the city council right now, Lalisa Mims. So how many of the black people you think is going to get on that seat, so I think it applies to everybody. The Arabs, they should get together and get behind one person, and the Hispanics should get together and get behind one person. But everybody wants to run. The election results get watered down, and you wind up losing. So in this election that's coming up in May, there may not be any black people who win a seat. I'm predicting that none of the people who are running now, including my ex-co-host Dave Gilmore, I don't think that anybody from that group that's dead is going to win. So Maritza Davila is going to retain her seat. Lalisa Mims, well, she's on the fence right now. I'm not sure about her. And so there's one seat left. So all the people who are running for council at large in the city of Patterson right now, only one of them is going to win a seat. Only one. If any, one is going to win a seat. So anyway, it's about 11 minutes past the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. And we're on Instagram as well tonight. Yeah, we're on Instagram. The Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. So welcome to Instagram. So we're on Facebook, it's LinkedIn, it's YouTube, it's Instagram. We're all over the place here on the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program at just about 12 minutes past the hour. So, yeah, so, it's going to be interesting, and I'll talk about it again on another edition of the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and I'll talk about this again, but it's going to be interesting to see if any of the candidates who are running are going to get a shot. It's going to be very interesting to see if anybody gets a shot at that seat. I seriously doubt it. Anyway, everybody, it's just about 12 minutes past the hour. So let me move on from that. Shout out to everybody. My people's in Patterson, New Jersey, where I lived for a minute. It's the birthplace of the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program years ago when I first started doing this type of work. And I started out in the city of Patterson, mostly on political stuff. I don't really do that anymore. But I just wanted to point that out, that the folks need to get behind it. The African American people need to get behind one candidate, because you're not all going to win. And again, black folks vote for who they like. They don't necessarily know what the person is capable of, what their platform is, how much power will they really have? Because again, you got 8 other people that it's gonna take a majority vote for your ordinance to pass, whatever it is. If you're a council person and you propose an ordinance, legislation, whatever they call it, 4 of those 8 other people besides yourself are going to have to vote for your ordinance or your legislation, whatever it is that you're trying to get passed. So this is what happens with that type of stuff, is that you have to win over you got to win over at least 4 people in order for you to win to get your legislation passed, whatever it is. Put a stop sign here, put a street light here, whatever it is that you're trying to do for your ward or your area, you're going to have to get at least 4 other people besides yourself to vote for it. And people need to understand that. So you think that you're going to vote a council person in and they're going to change the world? No, they are not going to change the world. I'm not saying that they're not going to be effective or have any effect on, on the what's going on in the city, but you need 4 other people besides yourself to pass any type of legislation. 4 other people. So people need to understand, you may not want to get involved with politics, but you have to understand it. You have to understand it. Hey, we'll take a break, everybody. And when I come back, I want to talk about the transgender activism that's going on right now and how they're comparing themselves to black folks and racism. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a few other things. And Trump, every week you got some Trump nonsense. I know you notice when you go to the gas station. I know I noticed because I use Plus in my truck. I can't use regular. So I was already paying a high price for fuel, and now it's even higher. So we'll get to that. We'll get to a few other things in just a minute. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com and ronkellyshow.com.
The United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
Everybody, we are back. It's about 17 minutes past the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the ronkellyshow.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram, I think, tonight here on the program. Shout out to my people at American Porterfield Transportation. Don't you know, for us, 45 years, count them, 45 years, American Porterfield Transportation has been providing safe and reliable transportation to and from your destination. Casino trips, senior trips, family reunions, school districts, after-school activities, you name it, Amica and Porterfield can handle it. Just give them a call, 908-753-6423. That's 908-753-6423. The Ron Kelly Show is sponsored in part by Amica and Porterfield Transportation at 19 minutes after the hour. So I got some emails, people are trying to get after me about transgender people. I don't have a problem with transgender people. I mean, do you, be you. I mean, I don't endorse it, but, I agree that people should be allowed to live their lives the way they want to live them. So Kansas, the state of Kansas, passed a bill. Because Kansas was allowing transgender people to change not just their names, but their genders. So, for example, if you were born a man and you feel like you want to be a trans woman, then they were allowing people to change their genders on official documents like birth certificates and driver's licenses. See, now, that's where the slippery slope comes in at, because if you can, let's say you're a man, you kill somebody. You're a man, you kill somebody. You go to Kansas, you can get because if you change your birth certificate to female and your driver's license says female, if you were born a man, you're gonna get you scot free. You're gonna get away with whatever it is that you did. You know. And then you have the pedophiles, for example. I'm not saying that transgender people are pedophiles. I'm not saying that at all. But you have perverts who will dress up as women just to be able to go to women's bathroom. I mean, would you want, a man in a dress in the same bathroom with your granddaughter or daughter? No. So this is the problem. See, because back in the day, I mean, I understand that the LGBTQ community, he talks about the Stonewall Inn and what happened in the 60s with LGBTQ people and how they suffered and what they went through. But people got past that. People got past that. I mean, you see LGBTQ couples on TV and commercials and all kinds of stuff. So people got past that. You see, because all the LGBTQ people wanted was to be able to, the only law they wanted to change was, equality, just like anybody else, which is totally understandable. And they wanted to be, able to get married. Okay. Thanks to Barack Obama. I can't blame good old Barack on that. But now they're able to get married. And LGBTQ people have been able to integrate into the general population. They've been able to do that. But with the LGBT, with the transgender community, it's a whole different story. Because they want the laws to change so they can, so they can have a female on their license and their birth certificate, even though they're men, were born as men, and vice versa for the women. The women, the trans men want to be able to change their official documents to male when they're really not. So like I said, you can kill somebody and go to Kansas and change your whole identity. You good to go. So that's the only problem I have with that you are not a man. And I don't care if you think you're a man, if you're a woman and you think you're a man. Okay, think that. But your passport and all that stuff should still say what you was born as. And it's really scary. So what happened was in Kansas, the focus is on Kansas because the Kansas governor okayed the bill and the Kansas legislature overrode the bill and said no. Because a governor's veto can be overridden if you have enough votes. So Kansas proposed a bill, or the legislature in Kansas proposed a bill that said that transgender people can be considered male, which trans men could be considered as men on their official documents, and trans women can be considered as women. And so it's on their birth certificate, it gets changed to male. So if you're a trans woman, your designation is now female on your official documents, and vice versa for the trans women. But see, my problem with the whole thing is that somebody, it's Samantha Boucher, I think her name, it's a trans woman, used to be I can't even say used to be a man, because you are still a man. I mean, come on. So what happened was this person went into the bathroom, the woman's bathroom, even though even though she's a man. So she goes into the bathroom, and she goes into the bathroom of the women's bathroom. A trans woman goes into the women's bathroom. And now she's like the hero of the day. Now, what bothers me is that people are comparing her to Rosa Parks. Comparing the trans woman who defied the law in Kansas, because in Kansas, if you're born a man, you have to go to the men's room. So what happened was when the governor's veto was overridden, all the driver's licenses that they had issued got canceled. So all the driver's licenses were canceled. The driver's licenses that they had allowed transgender people to change and the birth certificates, all of that stuff got canceled after the governor's veto was overridden by the Kansas legislature. So this person, Samantha Boucher, went into the women's bathroom, even though she's a trans woman, a man, goes into the women's bathroom, and now they're comparing her to Rosa Parks. Him, her, whatever, to Rosa Parks. And see, and this is what transgender people have been doing, like on social media, comparing themselves to black people. Nobody got treated, no ethnic group on earth has been treated worse than black people. Nobody. Not the Jews, not whoever. The Jews, when Jesus was around, to the Jews that the Germans. Nobody has been treated as bad as black folks, in my estimation. And see, that's the problem I had, that transgender people are starting to compare themselves to the black struggle in the black community, and comparing that person who went into the women's bathroom, comparing her or him to Rosa Parks. And that's insulting to me. That's insulting to me, that the transgender people would compare their issues to what happened to black people and what continues to happen to black people. Driving while black, eating while black, sleeping while black, all across the board, WB. And it pissed me off, because you can't compare the transgender, what happens in the transgender community, that people are, because it's not about race. Racism is about race. And what's happening to the transgender people, it's not about race. It's not about race. They're all lumped into the same bucket. Black ones, white ones, transgender, whoever. So it's not about race. So I'm like, how can you compare yourselves to the great Rosa Parks? See, because black folks, we didn't have a choice. You black, you can't hide it. Maybe if you're light skinned or whatever, if your mother was white or your father was white or whatever, you might be able to assimilate. But what black folks have gone through is about race. See, because people don't like transgenders because of the trans issues. Saying, supporting kids, trans kids. How can a kid be? How can a kid be trans? I mean, you know, when you're born, you don't know what you are when you're first born. I'll give him that. Okay. When you're first born, you don't know what you are. You know, until you start growing up, you know, at least when you start walking, but you don't differentiate between a baby boy and a baby girl when you're a baby because you have no idea. You don't know what's going on until you get a little older. Maybe to potty training and, you know, and then being around other kids and noticing that, you know, the difference between boys and girls. But when you're born, you don't know nothing about that stuff. So I just think it's an insult, if you ask me. I think it's an insult that they're comparing this lady, this man who wants to be a lady, who broke the law and went into the woman's bathroom, comparing him or her to Rosa Parks. Because again, nobody has gone through what black folks have gone through in America. Nobody. You know, nobody has gone through what we've gone through. No ethnic group. And yeah, people have been, you know, people have gone through stuff. You know, the Hutsus and the Tutsis in Africa and, you know, and some of the lawlessness, coups, people in Haiti going through stuff. I mean, you know, Haiti, what they go through is economic. It's not about race. It's about they don't have anybody to govern their country. It is lawless. You know, you can buy your way out of anything. You can't do it. You can do it here, I mean, to a degree. But for the most part, you can't offer a cop $50 and say, oh, let me go. You'd be in trouble here in America. So, you know, I'm like flabbergasted that these people would turn around and say, compared to transgender person breaking the law by going in the bathroom. Because nobody tells transgender people they got to sit in the back of the bus. Trans people, they, you know, they face the same things we face. They face the same thing any race, any ethnic group or group of people face. But to say that this person was comparable to Rosa Parks, it was a law that black folks had to sit in the back of the bus. Nobody tells transgender people to sit in the back of the bus. They're just telling them, you know, if you was born of a man, don't go in the woman's bathroom. That's it. If you were born a man, don't go in a woman's bathroom. If you were born a woman, don't go in the men's bathroom. But it's mostly the women, you know, because the men, we really don't care who go in the bathroom. You know, we really don't care. If a trans man came into the bathroom, I wouldn't know. So it's just a stigma. It's just the whole idea of men going into women's bathroom at 25 minutes before the hour. So yeah, shout out to my cousin George who never called me. I got a bone to pick with you, George. My cousin George who rides still riding the bike, 74 years old, still riding. I think he rode 74 miles to commemorate with his 74th birthday. So shout out to my man. See, because my family, you know, we last a long time. The Kellys, the Crawfords, the Gibsons, you know, we're very resilient type of folks. So anyway, take a break and come back and wrap this thing up. It's about 25 minutes before the hour. It's a Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the Ron Kelly Show.com. Everybody, we're back. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. Facebook, you're killing me. Looking for the program. Really, I don't know if it's on a real. I don't know. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. It's about 23 minutes before the hour of 8 o'clock. Oh boy. Yeah, the Ron Kelly Show is on. We're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, and we're on Instagram, I believe. If you're not able to get the Ron Kelly Show on Facebook, I gotta research that because I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I'm not sure what's going on with. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with Facebook. I have to take a look at that because I don't see anybody on Facebook, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Let's see. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here at 20 minutes. 20 minutes before the hour. It looks like we are. Yeah, it's about 20 minutes before the hour. So yeah, so don't tell me, don't be comparing, you know, comparing your plight to the plight of black folks. No, we're not trying to hear that. And like I said, I don't have anything against them per se, really. I really don't have anything about that, have anything to, you know. Okay, everybody, it's about 20 minutes before the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. I see there's somebody on, people are on YouTube. I'm not sure because it says I'm live. View on Facebook. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me see here what's going on. Give me a second. Okay, the Ron Kelly Show is live. Okay, let me see here what's going on. Yeah. Give me a second. Okay, the Ron Kelly Show is live. Yeah, we are live. Okay, let me see here what's going on. Give me a second. Okay, the Ron Kelly Show is live. Yeah, so we are live. Okay, let me turn this down. Let me turn the sound down. Okay, there you go. Okay, yeah, the Ron Kelly Show is live on Facebook. I got some people. I've talked to some people who okay, now it's frozen. Yes, I was talking to a producer I'm gonna have somebody come in and give me some help here with this, because I don't understand what's going on with Facebook. I don't actually get it. But anyway, it's about 15 minutes before the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. So, man, so two women down and two women down. Okay, the Ron Kelly Show is on Instagram. It's on Facebook. I see it. On Instagram, it's on Facebook. I see it. Yeah, but it's not moving. Okay, all right. These things, and I think I've been thinking I have these things worked out. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna go on, we're gonna do a good job, and then I go to turn around and these things, and I think I've been thinking I have. Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. It's about 20 minutes, about 15 minutes before the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show. 17 minutes before the hour. So yeah, so I don't have nothing against transgender people. I know I'm probably going to get some flack back from them, but I don't have anything against them. Yeah, Lamont Gates. I don't know Lamont Gates. I have no idea what's going on with this. I know I can hear myself, but I'm not, but I'm not moving. So I don't know. Yeah, it keeps freezing up for some reason. I have no idea what that's about. Yeah, I don't know. What that's about. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What that's about. I don't know. Yeah, but I've been talking to some people. I have somebody who's going to come in. Matter of fact, I've been emailing each other back and forth, and we're going to get this thing straight. So I do have some producers who are going to come in and help me get things together on the show. So I don't know if it's Wi-Fi or whatever. But anyway, it's 15 minutes before the hour. But the show must go on, Lamont Gates. The show must go on, even though it's not going on. But, yeah, so I got nothing against the transgender people. Let me see how long this is going to last. Yeah, it didn't last that long, yeah. Yeah. All right, that's bad news. The whatchamacallit, yeah, it keeps freezing for some reason. I have no idea why this show keeps freezing. It's freezing on Facebook. It's not doing it anywhere else. It's just doing it on Facebook. So, and I'm not sure what that's about. Because what's going to eventually happen is that we're going to drop Facebook and stop doing the show on Facebook eventually. That's what's going to happen when we start to transition over to other sites. We're going to be dispensing with Facebook. Yeah, we're definitely going to be doing that. We're going to be dispensing with Facebook because there's too many issues, too many problems. Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, so, yeah, there's just too many issues with Facebook. I don't know. There's too many issues. Anyway, it's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, as it is. And, yeah. So, 2 down, 5 to go. The second hammer is dropped on Pam Bondi's head. Pam Bondi is the Pam Bondi is the Attorney General, at least was the Attorney General. So last week or a week ago, Kristi Noem got the boot. She's going to be going, and she's going to be going. She's gone on to something else. It's not really that important. And today, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, got the boot from Pam Bondi got the boot from the Department of Justice. You know this stuff was coming. You know that this was coming. You know, we knew that Pam Bondi was going to be out because just like you knew that Kristi Noem will be out, because once those two people got killed, it was a wrap. It was a wrap for Pam Bondi. I mean for Kristi Noem. It was a wrap. She was out once those people got killed. Yeah, Facebook is still freezing. Okay. Yeah, the Facebook is still freezing. Yeah, so you knew that you knew that Kristi Noem was out once those people got killed, and then she came out right in the beginning. Everybody you can go over the link. You can go over to YouTube and watch the show. YouTube, if you're on LinkedIn, you can go on LinkedIn and watch the program as well. So you knew that Kristi Noem was done because not just one person got killed, two people got killed. And it didn't seem like she really had a grip on what was going on. It seemed like she didn't really have a grip on what was going on. So when she got the boot, you knew she was going to get the boot. And then Pam Bondi with this thing with the Epstein files. You knew that she was going to get the boot. You knew she was going to get the boot. You knew it. It was just a matter of time before she got the boot. So now Pam Bondi today, and again, we knew, but Marco Rubio is safe, Pete Hegseth is safe for now. They haven't made any waves, but you knew that Pam Bondi was going to get the boot. You knew. So getting back to that, I mean, it was a foregone conclusion that she was going to get the boot because of those people that got killed. Then she went to Congress and said, and would not apologize for saying that the people were radical, homegrown terrorists. When the lady got killed, the first thing she said was she was a terrorist, domestic terrorist. That's what she called her. So she said she was a domestic terrorist. That's the first thing that she said. Domestic terrorist. And then when she went to Congress, she didn't, when she went to Congress, she stood on that. She stood on that, domestic terrorist. So she was done. She was done. So the senator in Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, is a Republican. They lost him. He's a Republican. So, okay, so we got to break out of here, everybody, because we're having so many difficulties here. It's just about 8 o'clock, so we're going to break. We'll see you back here next week for another edition of the Ron Kelly Show. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see if we can get these things ironed out. But in the meantime, as I like to say, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And every man I have it all together, but together we definitely have it all. Thank you so much. It's been a hard hour.